specific note the fact that we're here standing in front of the Arizona Peace Officer Memorial, and the fact that this is a larger issue, fast and furious, this botched plan from our federal government through the ATF, through the Department of Justice, to take 2,000 weapons and to have straw buyers knowingly purchase these weapons here in our state. This is where it all happened in Arizona, and facilitate these weapons into the hands of the most violent criminals in North America. And in law enforcement, this is unacceptable. The fact that our own government has given weapons, some of these weapons not only semi-automatic, some transition to fully automatic and 50 caliber rifles, my deputies and our deputies don't even have on the street, and they put them into the hands of the criminals that we're fighting. This is unacceptable. The truth about this had to be dragged out slowly out of the federal government. We're saying, as sheriffs, all of us have a different opinion, not only in the fact that we're our own elected officials and our constituencies, but we're here united as Democrats and Republicans. We have 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans that are represented not just here, but also have given us comments. And I've talked to other sheriffs who have conveyed their support. I don't think you're going to find anybody who thinks that it's a wise or a good idea to give guns to violent criminals. And here in Arizona, we're the front line of this issue. And at this Peace Officer Memorial, where you'll see Agent Brian Terry, his name is honored, placed on this memorial. And with concerns of police survivors and all of our families, our job is tough enough here in Arizona. And when we have criminals who are armed with heavy weapons, the day clearly will come. The bloodshed, not only in Mexico, where they say 142 crimes have been linked, crime scenes have been linked to these weapons in Mexico. The Attorney General of Mexico is outraged, blaming America for this. And if there's one thing maybe the president should apologize for, is for this. The fact that weapons were facilitated into the hands of these cartels that have worked to destabilize in their fight against competing cartels and the Mexican government against a neighboring country and their government. And they are justly outraged. Well, we're here as sheriffs to call for the truth. We want a special counsel appointed by the president to investigate this. We do not believe that the Attorney General can self-investigate this and the related cover-up. We want to get to the bottom of this. 1, to find out truly what happened. 2, to ensure this never happens again. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is a public safety issue. This is a threat against our deputies and local officers, not just in Arizona, but across the Southwest. And we're asking people to stand with your local police officers, your local sheriffs, and call and support us in this for the truth to come out and to hold those accountable for the deaths, not only people south of the border, but for our hero, Agent Brian Terry and his family. If you see the quote, and before I open up to my fellow sheriffs, I talked to Kent Terry yesterday and to his family, and their hearts are broken. And they want the truth, and they haven't been given the truth. And where is the honor of our country and us in law enforcement when a brother officer is murdered in our state, here in Arizona, protecting our country, and then we find out months later that 2 of these weapons were weapons from Fast and Furious. And he said, my family and I are thankful for the sheriffs of Arizona for the fact they are helping us demand justice for my brother's murder. I want to open it up by Sheriff Scott Masher, who's the vice president of our association. He's the sheriff of Yavapai County. Sheriff Masher.
Good morning. I am Scott Masher, Yavapai County Sheriff. My primary responsibility is the welfare, the safety of my communities, and this goes completely against that. This is, any reasonable person would know that if you give weapons to violent, dangerous people, that they are going to use them, and obviously that's happened. This does hit home for me in northern Arizona, in the Prescott area, a long-time reputable business. was directed to sell assault rifles as well as thousands of rounds of ammunition to known violent criminals. And this absolutely makes no sense. We do need answers, and I strongly stand behind that a special counsel needs to investigate this and get those answers for us. So that's the stand I'm taking, as well as the rest of the sheriffs. So I would like to open it up to any of them who are interested in stepping out.
Thank you, Sheriff. Sheriff Tom Sheehan, who's the sheriff of Mojave County.
Thank you, Sheriff Babu. Arizona sheriffs have a unique challenge. The size of our counties, the situation we have with the Mexican border. Although my county is not on the border, we have many things in common with our fellow sheriffs that are on the border. I feel that we've been betrayed by our government, Washington, D.C., and we need answers. This may have hit us personally. One of my employees had a daughter that was killed in Nogales, Mexico, just a mile over the border on July 30th. Could it have been one of these weapons from Fast and Furious that was used? We don't know. As Sheriff Babu said, we've got to honor the memory of Agent Terry. And how we're going to do this is find out what has actually happened, who is behind it, and get to the bottom, get to the truth. Although my county is not on the border, it's in northwest Arizona. It's a prime traffic way for narcotics coming out of Mexico. So what are we doing? Exchanging illegal narcotics coming out of Mexico and sending them weapons? That's what it seems like. We're very concerned as Arizona sheriffs and hope that our administration in Washington and our senators, especially our Senator McCain, Senator Kyle, can help get to the bottom of this, solve this puzzle, and find out who is exactly behind it and who knew and what they knew. Thank you.
Before I call Sheriff Don Lowry, I wanted to read another statement. I was talking to Sheriff Tony Estrada, who's down in Santa Cruz County. There's a competing meeting at this time for HIDA and another couple law enforcement meetings that sheriffs needed to attend. He said that he was shocked and surprised, and it hurts all of us. He's very disappointed that this could happen by our own government. And now I wanted to call forward Sheriff Don Lowry of La Paz County.
Yeah, I want to thank Paul and the rest of my brothers here for being here today. This is quite it appears to me like a dishonor for law enforcement because of what's taking place here. There needs to be an independent, unbiased investigation into this incident here. I live just a short ways from the border, next to Yuma County, and we are stopping vehicles with high-powered weapons, and with the budget the way it is, we can't afford to buy weapons that match what these guys have. We need the support of this country to look into this and to do what they can to find out who's lying. It's embarrassing to this country and me. I've spent 50 years in uniform, and it's embarrassing to have to stand before you and apologize for people that we elect. But I want to thank you for all being here today, and Sheriff Babu.
Thanks, sir.
You read, also, we had a quote from K.C. Clark, who's the sheriff of Navajo County. Sheriff Clark says, "I'm outraged that our federal government has betrayed local law enforcement by arming violent foreign criminals, and now it appears evident that the Attorney General Holder may have lied under oath." And I want to offer Sheriff Larry Deaver of Cochise County, who also serves on our National Sheriff's Association board and is the chairman of the border, what is the actual committee? Immigration Border Security Committee. Does a fantastic job. Sheriff Larry Deaver.
Thank you all for being here. You're all going to do sound bites on your media presentations today. A couple of them I would like you to get in that I think are very critical and important. Not me, but what you see represented here in terms of brotherhood and coming together to ask very simply who really is responsible for helping to arm the people that we are fighting every day on the border. And when the answer comes up that apparently it's our own federal government who is complicit and then duplicitous in their responses and answers to those questions is incomprehensible to us, and that's why we're here today. We're down there busting our butts every day to try to keep the American public safe. You've heard a lot of words about this as nonpartisan. We are Americans. You are Americans. This is America, and we are here to help defend America, whether it be on the border or any place north where the tentacles of these drug cartels reach into our communities across this nation every single day. And for our own government to be complicit in helping them to conduct that business really is offensive to us. They threw Bill Newell, who was the ASAC for ATF, under the bus, sent him to Washington and put him in a refrigerator back there. Dennis Burke, the AUSA, who's a fine man and a stand-up man, took a fall. He is not the ultimate responsibility for this. Whoever made these decisions is well above his pay grade and are denying that fact. Who it is needs to be held accountable, and that's all we're asking. And that's not all we're asking. The second thing we're asking is, who got these guns? We know some of the people we're fighting. We can identify them by name and by picture, and by tracking who they are. But were they in fact recipients of these weapons? Agent Terry died in a cause, in a fight for you and me. Others will die in the cause of the fight for all of us on this side of the border, while people are dying on the other side. And while our own government is blaming America for exporting arms and cash south of the border, they're complicit in this exercise by exporting guns in and of themselves. So thanks for being here. Please deliver our message. We're in a fight for our country, our Constitution, and for our very lives. And we'll continue the battle. We'll try to hold the line, both on the line and north. And I commend my brethren here behind me for the efforts that we're doing. But it's up to you, the American public, to really deliver the message, carry the message, and hold those accountable who should be held accountable for these tremendous bad decisions.
Thank you, sir. I think it sums it up, the sheriffs, that there is a sense of betrayal. One, the fact that we had to find out the same way American people found out, is through the media. We were never warned, we were never included. All this happened in our state. Sheriffs of Arizona are full-service agencies. We provide not only jail services, we provide 911 emergency response. We are not just enforcers of the law, we are the protectors of our families, and our men and women are the heroes. And to be treated with this measure of disrespect and betrayal, to arm the criminals that come through our state in transporting drugs and transporting people, is unconscionable. And this is where we're asking and demanding a special counsel to be appointed, because we want the truth. We want answers. We want those responsible to be held accountable. And this is where, speaking for myself and not as the president of the Arizona Sheriffs, I want to say absolutely, I believe that those people, much like we treat criminals who work in concert together, if somebody goes in and drives a getaway car for a bank robber, and they're waiting out there knowing that person is robbing the bank, and they come out, or if there's a robbery and somebody facilitates a weapon into the hands of a criminal, a reasonable person believing that they're likely to shoot somebody or to kill somebody, we call that person an accomplice or an accessory to the crime, and they're charged with the very same felonies that they are. And here, how can we not look at our own government in this same fashion? Look at the leaders in Washington, D.C., that up on high, they make these decisions to arm the violent criminals of the cartels in Mexico with these weapons